Today's headline is going like the buffalo. Prairie chickens are growing scarcer every season. The subheadline says, they have been indiscriminately slaughtered by hunters. How the fowls protect themselves. It says, the exhilarating sport of hunting the prairie chicken on the plains of the West will soon be as extinct as that of shooting buffalo, says an Abilene correspondent to the New York Advertiser. The quick whir of the bird is heard less and less frequently, and the hunters encounter a far greater wariness than of old. Only a few years ago, and the sportsman was in clover when he reached the prairies of Kansas. Special cars with hunters aboard stopped in the midst of the level plains, and when the men came back, it was with shoulders heavily laden with the toothsome and attractive game. But the heartless and indiscriminate slaughter, in season and out of season, to which the different varieties of grouse and quail have been subjected during the past decade, has almost ruined the sport on the plains of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and other sections of the West. To be sure, there is yet game, but it has so decreased in quantity that the present season sees not 1/10 the amount that existed a few years since. There is little sport more enticing than the shooting of prairie chickens or pinnated grouse. Nothing can be compared to it except the hunting of the wild turkey. While turkey is sold in the timber of the bottomlands, the prairie chicken lives boldly out on the plain and trusts to his keenness of vision and rapid flight to protect himself. To creep upon a flock of the fowls at home is a sight to be remembered. The rich, plump bodies of the hens, shading from dark grayish brown on the breasts and wings to a light gray neck and dark head, and the larger build of the males, with the distinguishing long black feathers on the neck, reaching down like the ends of a yoke, make a delicious contrast for a lover of a rifle with the green of the prairie sod. They are large enough to make good legitimate prey. They are excellent eating, tender, rich, gamey, but their outposts hear you, and a quick clucking warning is given. In an instant, every head drops, the bodies crouch close to the ground, and apparently disappear. Unless you are a practical hunter, you will declare that half a second has suffered for some of the birds to sink into the earth. But they are all there. This one behind a little grass clump, that in a tiny hollow made by some pony's foot, another spreading its wings as it squats at the base of a weed stalk. To the amateur eye, it's remarkable, if without considerable search, more than 2 or 3 can be detected. So closely do the colors of the birds blend with the shadows and tints of the sod. The professional knows that they are all there, and the bunch is speedily flushed. In an instant, they rise about you as if suddenly created from dust. One was less than a yard from your feet, yet you did not see it. Their flight is a peculiar one. Rising to a height of from 20 to 50 feet, they take a horizontal course, churning the air rapidly with their stumpy wings, until momentum is acquired, then sailing with outstretched pinions for many rods. A prairie chicken is never awkward or ridiculous, except when in the air. On taking flight, the birds do not like quail, go as a flock, but radiate in every direction, so that he is a good gunner indeed, who makes both barrels count. The prairie chicken is non-migratory, and like quail, turkey, and rabbits, might be preserved for all time if afforded a reasonable amount of protection. Grouse and quail can stand a comparatively close settlement of the country, at least one as close as most parts of the West will admit of, and with the proper enforcement of rigidly drafted game laws, as well as a manly forbearance on the part of the sportsmen themselves, would preserve the now unequal ratio between the increase in slaughter. As it is now, there is practically no protection, and from June to December, the markets of the western cities show forbidden game. It is not alone grouse, but quail, wild turkeys, and other varieties suffer. Poachers go with dogs out of season and bring in loads of the pretty game, and it finds its way mysteriously into the stalls of the cities. Kansas and Nebraska have laws prohibiting the killing or offering for sale of birds, except from September 1st to January 1st. Yet so flagrantly has the law been violated that it has become necessary for sportsmen's clubs to offer purses for information regarding violation in order to prevent entire extermination. It will take but a short time to put an end to the sport at the present rate of decrease. The famous civilian scout Burgess, who is attached to the government post in Yellowstone Park, gives some interesting facts regarding the increase of game since severe measures have been taken with the poaching trapper. The elk, he says, are now in such abundance that they promise to give game to the hunter in season for many years to come, while the buffalo are increasing to such an extent that the park will soon be well stocked. The same kind of vigorous measures will be necessary if the western prairies are not to be stripped of the smaller as they have been of the larger game. Today's story came from the great state of Pennsylvania, being reported in the Cambria Freeman of December 23rd, 1892. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.